together.
Hi, Yoga.
We have like 4 or 5 minutes.
Okay.
Thank you. How are you?
How are you?
What's up?
You guys look great. I loved your prom pose. That was
Did you
really
see
nice.
that?
Yeah, very nice. Well, how does it feel bringing this character to TV? An iconic black superhero finally on TV.
Feels fantastic.
It feels fun. It feels the right thing to do. It feels timely. It feels responsible.
Feels about time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. And try to describe as far as like the overall themes of season 1 in 3 words.
Say that
Overall,
again.
like overall themes for season 1 in 3 words. About 3 words.
Accepting who you are.
I'll take it. I like that.
Accepting who you are.
How did you find this particular character, and what made you want to develop that one specifically?
Well, you guys are comic book fans, right? So I actually was interested in the Milestone comics. You know, those were they were so good, they were so great that I thought, oh, you know, I can get those comics and I can bring a black superhero to television. And when we sat down with Warner Brothers and when we did our deal, you know, I mentioned that, and they said, "Oh, that's fantastic. Well, we have a character as well, and he's Black Lightning." And so, you know, I was sitting in the meeting, and it was a big meeting, and I played it cool. I was like, "Oh, you know, I'll take a look at that." But inside, I was like, "Fuck yeah!" Right? So.
I mean, he's got a cool suit.
So it was easy, you know. They presented it to us, and it was an easy choice. I mean, you know the character. So.
I think also, you know, it's, you know, they're slowly starting to see black characters in the genre itself. So you want to be invited to that party, but more than just being happy to be there, what can you do once you're there? And one of the things I think is important is that images are powerful. They're powerful because when you can see yourself, you have to show up. If you can see yourself, then it's like, who else can see me? And who else can see me? And what am I doing with my life? What choices am I making? Who am I? Where do I serve and fit in if I can be seen? If you remain out of the conversation, out of the storytelling, you feel like you can be on the sidelines and have or maybe I'll stay invisible. I don't have to shake things up. But when that spotlight is on you, what are you going to do? And when someone can see you, I think this is why I'm excited about this time to be in this, to take a black superhero that's a father, also taking back that narrative of black men are not in their families' lives. They are. It may not look a certain way, the way that you want it to look, but it is there. They are there. They're loving, and they're raising their children. And then skipping to young black women. So black women are some of the most invisible people in media, in life, in the concerns. Even within our own culture, sometimes black men get their needs met before we can even talk about our needs. But to see 2 young black women raised at a time that they are to be empowered by a strong black woman, strong black man, to step into their power and then be guided by that, challenged by that. It's time for that at a time in real life when young women are looking for those choices for themselves.
They're the Obamas of the superhero.
Yes, the Obamas of the superhero. They really are.
And they have like an episode where they take down Trump.
They take down Trump.
Yeah.
Give us a minute.
That was
Yeah. We might need all the universities.
How does the family dynamic, how is it different from, you know, what we're seeing in Arrow, what we're seing in Flash? There's a lot of family elements across the CW shows, even in some of the Marvel shows.
Mm-hmm.
What sets your show apart in terms of that dynamic?
Well, one, I think that they're all going to have their power. The number one thing is kind of maybe the most obvious. They're black. And you get to experience, look, we all live very universal lives. We want to eat, we want to be rewarded for our work, we want to excel in our work, and we have goals that we want in life. So the universal aspect of our show is already there. But I think cultural specifics, Mara said earlier, you want to know, okay, what are those people like living, how's it living in a community where there's 125 shootings in one week? So most people assume those people, all of them just must be toting guns, but no, I grew up in a community like that, right? And so there's a very few people who are making a lot of noise, but you still got to get up as a mailman, as a filmmaker, as a nurse. You got to walk through that neighborhood and make your way through it. As a child, you got to get up, you got to make your way through that and get to school. So I think that is what makes it unique, is that's where we're going to live. Those are the stories we're going to tell. And that's why this family is different, because they will all walk through it. And not to mention that not only those issues, but Anissa is a lesbian. We're going to talk about those things. Jennifer is a teenager. We're going to talk about what it feels like to grow up as a teenager under the pressure of your dad being Obama, right? What is it like?
Lynn, too. Oh, sorry, I
was going to talk about Lynn.
You want to talk about Lynn?
Don't
forget about Lynn.
Don't forget about Lynn.
Well, because, one of her superpower is love. And also, she loves want to be the caretaker of so many people, but has she fulfilled the things that she wants to do? Or are you constantly, because these people over here challenging the world, getting into, getting into the things that they're getting into and keeping them safe, am I pursuing who I am and what my strengths are? So those dynamics are so important.
So how closely do you think you're going to stick to the comic book storyline? Or are you going to put
Thematically, we will stick to, we'll stick to the theme of social justice and helping your community and educating. We'll stick to the theme of loving your family and a man being in love. We'll stick to the theme. We'll stick to those themes.
But your story will be...
Yeah, but I got to do my own story.
Yeah, okay. All right.
And
All right.
Yay, education. Okay. And speaking of Lynn, that she's seen what being a hero takes out in Jefferson before, and now that her daughters are kind of presenting powers, how is she going to be dealing with that in their own call to heroism?
I mean, just stating that, you could say she could be a nervous wreck, but then how do you not lose, how do you stay present and focused and strong enough so you can be an anchor to those people? That is a strength in and of itself. You may not be sort of taking on the bullets, but you are the one. And to be a superhero really, in real life and in even the genre, who's your support system? And so you realize I can fall apart and go crazy, or I can, if there's
use her own superpower,
Yes.
which is love.
Which is love, to be that soft landing every time so they can bounce back out there. We all need that.
Amen.
Thank you, guys.
Congratulations. Thank you.